So this is a short video on replacing the track rods or tie rods on the 116 of my brother. You can see the right side, which is green, and the left side, which is black. And this is 46.3 in the manual, which I found I had some info on, which is kind of helpful. You'll hear in the next snippet the noise my brother's car making going over bumps or turning of the steering wheel. So the right side, you can see here, it's got way too much mobility in there, and that's what was making the clunking. The rubber boots are torn, there's a lot of play in them. And as I noted, the right side's usually painted this green, and the black side, I think, was, the left side was black. The boots on the left side looked okay, but we replaced that, and I don't think that was an acceptable state. So here's the Febi product, and you can see here, that's a retailer's number. But you can see they're for the 116 and 126. There's the left side 126 part number ending in 0603, whereas the right side ends in 0503. So this is the left side. There's protective caps over the boots, which just come off after you take the nut off. You can see they've got the clamps at each end of the rod, and you can undo them to allow spinning and lengthening. So just starting off was a 17mm socket to break the tension on these ones, and then getting the ratchet on them. It's best to leave the nuts on there, so when you use the puller, I'm told the bolt doesn't flare and get stuck in the hole on the way out. So you just back them up to cover the surface, and that way the puller won't deform the bolt. So now just really loosening them up with the ratchet. Of note, the green paint on those right side ones just seems to have been cheaply sprayed on. It does come off, it seems, on parts of it when you're even putting the new ones in. So at this point I had the wheel on, which you should take off to make this a lot easier. So we take the wheels off, gives much better access. I'm being helped by my nephew. So I bought a cheap $40 puller at the auto store. It didn't fit particularly well. You do this one up, and then that fits on the end of the bolt, but the nut is left on so the bolt doesn't deform. You just crank it a few times and it'll pop off. The alternative is these metal forks. I didn't find any luck, and I didn't like the force required, so I didn't actually use this. So the rods are adjustable in length by those two nuts, which have the clamps attached, and you can see the distance between the two nuts is 37 centimeters or so. And compare it to the original one and take note of which way it goes in. The original still has the protective caps on there. So this is the right side. The caps are coming off, and then we're going to spin those loose ends out to that 37 centimeters or so. You can see the old one has a lot of play in it. No wonder it was clunking. There's a torn boot. The new one you can't move easily with your hand. Here's a pic of the joint as in the instruction service manual by Mercedes. And just showing the torque values for the various nuts as well as the distances. So in we go, and these nuts get done up to 35 Newton meters as per the manual. And there's a little bit of fiddling to get these things in. Again, just making note of which way the bolts and everything is facing. So there was a bit of fiddling here to get this one in. This is actually my brother's car, he's giving me a hand. So then just using the torque wrench, setting that to 35 Newton meters. You see the steering giving way as it gets tighter.
There we go, click, do it.
And so the correct torque has been reached. And then we just repeat that on the external side.
Alright.
So there's no play in these things now. It's nice and firm compared to the other side, which again looks good, but still lots of play. So it was replaced at the same time. You can see here's the new one in now. very rigid again, no play anymore. And one final time, the installed track rods. Now you can see wobbling the wheel, there's no give in that, there is no play, and this cannot be moved by hand. So we're happy with that. It's time to put the car down, put the wheels on and test it. So this is driving the car now.
No, not. No, left and right, not.